Hello everyone and welcome to TechBuddy. In today's video, I will be talking about cancellation token, why we are seeing it everywhere, specifically if we are long running or just any async tasks, any async function we have. The cancellation token has been passed as a parameter. Most of the async function accept cancellation token. We are going to be talking about why it is. So why almost all the async function accept cancellation token, how we can use it, and actually why we are using it, in what case we might need it. In today's video, we will be talking about those questions and answer. Let's dive into it. First of all, when I say cancellation token, you can just think long-running task or any async task you can just mention. You can just think. It's because the cancellation token is mostly used to cancel any operations happening behind the scene at some specific point. Maybe we just want to cut it short. Maybe we have 5 seconds running a function, but we want to cancel it on the second. Maybe in the half of it, maybe in the first, maybe something happens, we want to cancel it. And also we are using it without realizing. We will be talking about this one as well. I have a cancellation console application over here. Let me just arrange that font. I have a cancellation token console app. I'm just going to be showing you in what case we might need and how we can work with that. And also I have a cancellation token web API that I will be showing you something else to look at the same thing from a different angle. First, I'm going to start with DB connection. Actually, it should be connection. DB connection operation. Let's imagine we have a DB connection operation. We have execute a SQL function that accepts the SQL that you need to run on a database, let's say. And I'm ensuring the connection. It can be happen. So I'm creating a new connection if it is null. And if it is not opened already, I'm opening it. So this is one async function. Okay. And also I have fake delay function over here just to simulate that I am running this SQL on the database and gathering the collection. It doesn't have to be gathering the collection or the data, but it might just execute something. It could be update SQL. Maybe it was running, executing a SQL stored procedure. It doesn't matter actually. So what we are having is here execution delay, fake execution delay. I am waiting as long as the milliseconds parameter. So in here, for example, I'm waiting for 3 seconds to simulate the database connection or database execution function. So this is another async function. I have now 2 async function. I'm asking you, so if I get the operation, let's say, okay, operation, new database operation, and I'm saying, okay, give me execute the SQL, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But at some case, maybe I'm not waiting for it. All right, so I'm not waiting for it. I'm waiting for something else. Maybe it is another service call, maybe task delay 1 second. After 1 second, I want to cancel the operation over here. Let's imagine you are running a running a web API. Someone just sent the request to you. You start the DB connection thing or DB SQL execution. But at some point, they want to cancel it. Maybe they close the tab, they close the browser, maybe they click the cross icon to stop the request. In that case, your server, your application should be able to cancel it as well. So let's say I have a long-running task. I'm not awaiting for it. I'll just fire and forget. While it is being happen behind the scene, after 1 second, I want to cancel my operation. It's because someone just clicked something. Someone has done something. In that case, to be able to cancel the operation, now this is where the cancellation token comes in. If you have a cancellation token, let's say, I'm now going to DB connection operation. Let's say if you have a cancellation token, so which means you're going to be able to cancel any async operation, right? I just said. So we had 2 different operations over here. This is the first one, opening the database connection, and the second one is basically executing, but it doesn't matter. I'm just simulating it with delay. if I had a cancellation token in C#, let's say we have cancellation token passed to this function, and I'm having it. If I go to async, open async function and switch to the second usage of it, it accepts the cancellation token. This means if the token that you pass to me is cancelled at some point where I'm still trying to open the connection or while I'm doing something, if this cancellation token is cancelled, now I'm going to cut, I'm just going to stop whatever I'm doing. So this is what is happening behind the scene. If I pass this cancellation token and if someone cancels that token, this open async function is going to stop working. And we are going to see what's going to happen after that. It is the same for any other tasks or any other async operations, just like task delay over here. If you go through its parameters, you can just see it also accepts the cancellation token. So now I'm saying, okay, I can have the same cancellation token here in that function and pass it to that one too. So now I'm waiting here, as it's here, it is 3 seconds. Let's say on the first second, after the first second, someone just canceled the cancellation token. So as the token is being canceled, the task delay function stopped working. It's not gonna wait for that long. It's gonna stop what it's doing. What it does is wait, let's say 5 seconds. It needs to wait. It needs to keep me waiting for 5 seconds for the return of it. But if the cancellation token canceled, now it's gonna cut. It's gonna stop what it's doing and just return me something with, I'll just come into it. So this is the second thing. We can pass the same fake token. Now I am saying, okay, someone needs to tell me send me maybe execution, the cancellation token as well here. Let's say I have cancellation token with the default value with default. Now I am using the same cancellation token to pass it here and here as well. So now whoever uses the cancellation, whoever uses the DB connection operation needs to send the cancellation token parameter here. And then I'll be using it to cancel at some point, if it is canceled, to cancel my database connection, which is here, open async, or maybe it was canceled while I'm working on that, while I'm executing it on the database. If it is so I will be passing it to that one too. DB connections, DB SQL command also accept the cancellation token parameters. So I'm now simulating it. But if I was actually using the same functions, the execute SQL or something, I should still be able to pass the cancellation token. So it's going to be the same, no worries. So this is what happens behind the scene, or where I can use my cancellation token, or to do what I can use it. The other operation, let's say, could be file processing. Let's say you have function called process pending files. Somehow you have pending files and you need to do something. Maybe you're going to read all the content, cast it to deserialize it to any object, make some changes on the object, and maybe copy the files or move the files to archive or anything. It could be anything. It doesn't matter. Differently, I have now here for each function, for each loop over here, and I'm getting all the functions, all the JSON functions in the current directory, just reading, just simulating something. I'm not gonna run it. Imagine I'm just getting, let's say 1000 or 100 files over here. And in the for each loop, I am processing each of those. The processing is doing nothing actually so far, but I have file read all text async. It is another async function. What it does is basically it gathers the content of the file and put into a string variable over here, which is file content. And again, simulating a file processing delay, maybe 1 second. Every file takes 1 second to process it. As I just said, you can compress it, maybe you can move it to somewhere else. You can compress and send it to via the HTTP function. It doesn't matter. As long as they are async function, as long as they are accepting cancellation token, you can use the same. Let's say someone just called that function and you gathered all 1000 files and started looping through. The first file is processed, and the second one is processed, and the third one is processed. But someone clicked the cancel button. Maybe they want to cancel the operation. If it is copying files from your C drive to D drive, let's say, you just started the copying everything and all the files is being copied in order. But at some point on the UI side, someone just clicked the cancel button. You can do it on your Windows operating system, in your Mac OS. It doesn't matter actually what operating system you're using. You can have the same thing. Copy the files, start the copying, and cancel it at some point. Once you cancel, the other files are just canceled, right? So this for loop should be stopped. Should not process the next file or the other files in the same, let's say, enumerable string over here, right? So you can use it over here. So if I accept the cancellation token here, I should be able to, maybe if it is, let's say, it is not async function. Do we have get files async? No, we don't have. If it was an async function, I should be able to cancel it. What if it is not? So I'm just going to be able to pass it over here, process file. So I know the process file has async function, which I can pass the cancellation token parameter to. First, this is the async function. I can send it to, so it can stop reading the file when I cancel it. Or if it is, let's say, delay, or if it is copying, if it is making HTTP call via HTTP client, maybe you can post the file to something, you are just compressing it, you are zipping it. It doesn't matter what you are doing. As long as it is async and accepting cancellation token, you can send the cancellation token to cancel the operation, right? What else? So while processing file, I pass the cancellation token. Someone needs to send that cancellation token to me and cancel. So now we have another problem here. Who is creating this cancellation token? How can I create one to send it over here and cancel it later? Let's say in the program CS, we just use the execute SQL, and the second parameter is cancellation token. Let's assume we can create token, new cancellation token, and pass that into my function. And let's await it. No, we can await it. So in that case, I can use it. But how I'm going to cancel it? Let's say we have another service, we have UI service thread, or someone is just getting here and saying, okay, token is canceled, but I don't have any cancel function. I don't know how to cancel it. The thing is that the cancellation token shouldn't be used by itself only. To generate new cancellation token, we can use token source. So new cancellation token source we can create, and this cancellation token source give us a token, and we can use the same token to pass it to any function that we are using. And now we have the token source cancel function. So now we can cancel the cancellation token and stop all the async running, an async process stop, right? We can stop every async functions that we are using the same cancellation token. For instance, for here, I can stop, if it is over here, I can stop the connection open. I can stop the execution process. It doesn't matter. This cancellation token will be canceled. We can do it manually, or we can use the same function, actually, token source cancel after we have, right? So I can say, okay, cancel in 1 second, we can say, or I can use the same parameter here, as you can see, in 1 second. So this is a bit tricky, actually. So even though you don't cancel the cancellation token, it is going to be canceled in 1 second. So you can say, okay, let's say this is 5 seconds. You say, okay, this cancellation token should be canceled in 5 seconds, but your execution just took only 1 second. Let's say, what's going to happen after that? It's not going to happen anything. It's because when I pass this one, let's say over here, within task delay, if it accepts cancellation token, in a for each loop, it is constantly being checked. It is constantly checking if the cancellation token is canceled. If it is canceled, then it's going to throw an exception. This is the thing. If the cancellation token is canceled while it is still doing its job. Let's say task wait. So let's say every 100 milliseconds, it checks if the cancellation token is canceled. If so, it's gonna throw an exception. But the thing is, while it is doing its job, it is checking. If its job is completed, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if your cancellation token is canceled or not. So within that case, if your cancellation token expire time is 5 seconds, but your execution thing, your execution SQL took only 3 seconds, nothing gonna happen. So within that case, you can use it to make sure your async operation is not gonna take longer than 5 seconds you can think of. It's because you're just limiting it to run 5 seconds. If it is more than 5 seconds, it's gonna be canceled and the exception is going to be thrown. What exception? So we can say, okay, this is the exception. Operation canceled exception, we can say. If you're catching any operation canceled exception, that in that case, we can assume that the cancellation token has been canceled by something else, or in that case, automatically by the cancellation token source, right? So this is how cancellation token also is being checked behind the scene. The token also has, let's say, property is cancellation requested. So if you are using something manually, if you are not using, let's say, task delay, right? But you are just creating your own task delay function. Let's say we have a for loop over here, and I say, okay, I have a counter, right? Counter is 1, 0 actually, let's make it. And whatever you're gonna do, await task delay, or I don't know, threading sleep, you have been waiting 100 milliseconds every time and increase the counter. So it's gonna block the thread actually, depending on how you're calling. But let's say we don't have any cancellation, thread locking thing considerations over here. Now I'm waiting 100 milliseconds every time and increasing the counter, but also I'm checking the cancellation token is canceled the request, but I'm not gonna do it here, so I will be doing it here, right? So now I'm saying as long as the cancellation token is not canceled, so the cancellation tokens cancel is not requested, do your job. I'm basically created over here some sort of smart waiting, smart delay, I can say. Probably this is doing something similar behind the scene. So now I'm checking it. So the part that I should be throwing an exception, I can say, okay, so I can use it as it like through so infinite loop and check it here. And if so, throw new operation cancel exception, I can say. This could be it. Or what I can do is, I can say, as long as it is not here, or just use it like that and use the same thing, cancellation token, throw if the cancellation token is requested. So within that case, it's gonna be just checking this one. But imagine this was true, so this condition was true, so you get in, but at the same point, at this exact moment, someone just cancel it. So in that case, what it does behind the scene, check if the cancellation token is requested. We couldn't see it. If the cancellation token is requested, and if so, throw the exception. It's gonna be doing the same. So this is what's happening behind the scene. If you cancel the token, so as long as this loop true, and also the other thing is that if counter, let's say if counter equals 10. Right, so I waited for 1 second, so 10 times as this should be maybe seconds or millisecond, it doesn't matter. If it equals to that one, let's say, now I can break my loop. It is some sort of smart delay, but we just don't need it. It's because we are canceling the cancellation token to a function that accepts the cancellation token. So I am now sure that the function that I'm passing the cancellation token is checking it constantly, and if it is some sort of cancel, it's gonna throw an exception. So within that case, in the program CS, I can use it. It is the same your file operation. after first file is processed, actually, if you cancel the token, the rest of the files are not gonna be processed. So this is the first example of using it. And the second one could be, let's say you have health controller in your web API, okay? And so to make sure that your API is up and running, let's say you have a function, you have an endpoint, health check endpoint, and returns healthy, that's okay. And on the second one, you have database health function. In that case, someone just needs to know if the database is up and healthy and running and healthy. In that case, we have an endpoint database health, and we have, again, simulated DB connection delay. Now I'm going to try to connect to DB. If so, if I'm able to connect and just gonna say, okay, this is healthy, database is healthy and running. Within that case, you might just say, okay, how I can just pass the cancellation token. Now I'm saying, okay, if someone send me cancellation token to my function, I can use it to do the same. Maybe imagine this is connection open async from our previous operation, you can say, and this is the thing. I'm just gonna try that one. You can imagine the same thing. But if in 10 seconds, if I'm able to connect within that second, it's not gonna take 10 seconds, but let's say it's gonna take 10 seconds. While this 10 seconds is still being checked, I'm still waiting for it. I'm still trying to connect to DB. Someone just canceled the cancellation token. So in here, I was somehow able to call the cancel token or cancel it automatically. And I was able to generate my new token, but how it's gonna happen on here? So this is a good thing of C#, actually. C# in MVC pattern, it has cancellation token binder, which helps us to have the cancellation token as a parameter. No one is gonna send this cancellation token automatically, but it's gonna be sent by the .NET framework itself. So it's gonna check the cancellation token, and it is also gonna start listening the user interface. If it is a browser, if someone canceled the operation somehow by clicking the cross or just clicking the cancel button, it really doesn't matter. It's gonna cancel that cancellation token. So if they cancel the cancellation token, then I will be able to stop what I am doing. So if I'm just doing opening the connection to the database, I will stop it. If I'm waiting over here for like 10 seconds, I will stop it. This could be the thing. So I'm now gonna run the application just to see how it's seen. I have now Swagger over here, but we don't need it. So you can just test this one. It is healthy, it's saying. But what I'm gonna do is just to test it from here. So now I'm saying, okay, I have health and database health endpoint. So I started the function. So this is still happening behind the scene. I'm still waiting for 10 seconds. I'm not gonna cancel the token, so I should be seeing the healthy as a result. So it took 10 seconds, 10:05, it doesn't matter. Now I get the healthy result. Let's say I started the request, but then I canceled. So now I started it, and now I canceled. When I canceled, I don't see anything over here. But when I canceled it, so now I know it is being canceled. So now I can do something. Let's say I'm now doing try catch here and doing the same thing. If operation canceled, what I'll do is logger error. I'm just gonna log it so we can see it on the console output, and cancellation token exception, let's say. And then maybe return not okay, return something. I'm not going to be able to return anything, but I can throw an exception, right? I can throw what is happening over here, but I just logged something. And if I log something here, let's say information, DB connection is success, full, I can say, right? So now I'm rerunning the app. So now I'm sending the request and then cancel it. See, I just canceled in 10 seconds, not in 10 seconds, in maybe 2 seconds. in however, it doesn't matter actually. So now I see it's being canceled, how I see it. So the thing is that this is the message that I'm passing from here, cancellation token expired. And this is what happens actually. It says the cancellation task cancelled exception has been thrown, and the message says a task was cancelled. So my operation cancelled. So you can imagine someone just clicked the report button, or yeah, in the web page you have a huge report button that is running a huge SQL on the database and getting lots of data to user interface. Maybe on it's gonna put it into a grid, right? So you click the get the report button, get data button, but then you just wanted to cancel it. I mean, you're not gonna cancel it by clicking the cancel. Let's say you close the tab, you still close the browser, or just you don't need it anymore, right? So you navigate to some another page, you just switch to Google, whatever it is. But as the database script is running, happening behind the scene, right? You click the button, now it's connected to database and it is running the SQL on the database. At the end of it, database is gonna gather all the data to you, and you're gonna put it into grid or whatever UI you are using. But you just switch to Google, you navigate to Google, or just maybe close the tab, close the browser, or just switch to another application. You don't really need to see the result. So the database script execution should be stopped immediately. So within that case, you can use the cancellation token. You can retrieve the cancellation token from .NET itself and pass it through all your async function when it is stopped by someone else, when it is canceled by someone else, by something else. So you can cancel all your operation, all your async operation. This is the good thing of you having or just using the cancellation token. If you like the content, please hit the like button, and if you have any questions, you can just ask it in the comment below. So you could just say, okay, what happens if we have the cancellation operation cancel exception? Do we need to create try catch block everywhere? No, we don't need to use it. So in C# we have action filters, we have middlewares. We can create custom middlewares, or we can use the middlewares that's been generated by Microsoft to catch all the unhandled exceptions, and we can create a central middleware exception, or we can use one of the middlewares already created as a central unhandling catching mechanism over there. If you want to see those content, please leave your comments in the below so I can generate new videos. From that videos, this is what I want to mention actually. So until next time, happy coding.